So like, wouldn't hydro and like plants go pretty well together?
Water is very important, especially for a young garden. Yeah, boy.
What's going on, YouTube? Legend here once again. This time at you again with some more Genshin Impact. And honestly, I wanted to talk about Dendro. Now, I have been sitting here thinking, brainstorming, wondering, what is this Dendro element gonna do? What's in store for us, you know? And a couple things have been happening that MiHoYo's been doing, or Hoyoverse, I'm sorry, that Hoyoverse has been doing, has kind of made me raise an eyebrow and made me a little suspicious. And I believe that Hoyoverse is prepping us for Dendro as we speak. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at Yae Miko. Yae Miko, as we have here, you see that Yae is an interesting character, right? Yae is a character that is electro, but she has EM scaling, right? Now, not EM scale to the point where we want to put main stats on her, of course. EM scale to the point where it's like it's just good to have her on the substats, right? But like, it almost kind of seems unnecessary. It's like, why did they even add that? That's kind of weird, you know? Why didn't they just give her, you know, higher multipliers, you know? And I think I know why. So the thing is, why would an electro character need EM scaling? Well, let's say a character like the Luke had EM scaling. Wouldn't that make him great? That it would be great to build EM on him, and not only would he get the advantage of having the multipliers from the reaction, as well as the scaling that it does to his actual kit. Like, that'd be pretty great. So what if Dendro and Electro have some type of special relationship going on where they can make good reactions, and when you have a character that has EM scaling, benefits from it twice as much. Now, if that were the case, that'd be great. That is why I kind of think, because like, that's just kind of it's just a very suspicious passive right here. And it just makes me think that MiHoYo did this purposely to prepare us for Dendro, because MiHoYo likes to do that a lot. They introduce characters that are not necessary, and then they make them necessary, right? Yae Miko is a great character. I love her. She's great. But she's not very necessary, right? When at C0, what's really the point of using her over Fischl? Because of a nuke? I mean, that's good if you really love the character, but it's not great. But does Fischl have EM scaling? No, she doesn't. So when reactions come around, who's gonna be better? Yae or Fischl? It's gonna be Yae by a landslide, because she has that scaling going on. That's what I'm suspecting. Plus, we've always been talking about, oh, Electro needs a buff, Electro needs a buff. You got Pyro that has Vaporize and Melt. You got Hydro that has Vaporize and Freeze and this and that and blah, blah, blah. You have, you know, Cryo, which is another very useful element with Melt and blah, 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 and so on and so forth, and Freeze. And like, you just have like, you know, Super Conduct, which is good for physical. Electro Charge is like good, but it's a little, doesn't really match up to the other ones. You know, and an Overload, which is like, you kind of don't want Overload to happen most of the time. So that's the thing. So it's like, always thought like, well, Electro's kind of just falling behind, but you really got to think, we're missing an element. We're missing an entire element, and that can change a lot. Because think about a game where we don't have Animo. Like if we get Animo added later, that changes how you use a lot of elements. It changes how you use a lot. Like it does great, right? So I think that Dendro and Electro are going to have a wonderful, wonderful relationship, right? That's what I think. I think that Dendro is the Electro buff we've been waiting for, because MiHoYo just has been silent in terms of us talking about what we need for Electro. And I think that I think they're just playing dumb at that point. I think they actually have something in store for us. And then we have Hydro, right? So we have character coming out, Ayato, right? A Hydro DPS. He seems like he's going to be, I mean, there's dreams that he might be a DPS. Well, let's hope he's a DPS. I think he might be a DPS. I don't know, we'll see. But let's just say he is a DPS, right? And we haven't gotten an actual proper Hydro DPS yet in the game. But we get one now. Why? Right? We have Child. Child's great. I love him. Child is awesome. But he's not a main DPS. He's not supposed to be. That's why he has a cooldown, because they want you to switch him out. Right? He's an enabler. He allows your off-field DPS to do much more damage and heavily applies it, and he can deal some damage too. But he's not a main DPS, right? So we are getting a main DPS now, right? And there's also some dreams that we might get another Hydro user, you know, but why are we just getting these Hydro users now? What's going on, you know? Why would you do that? Because when you think about it, let's take a look at Dendro. It's plant.
Water is very important, especially for a young garden. Yeah, boy.
Right? So like, wouldn't Hydro and like plants go pretty well together, right? Like if you're going to make reactions, wouldn't it like logically make sense that that would go together? So like, this just makes me think that like the characters that we're getting now, from Yaimiko all the way till Sumeru comes out, when we know we're gonna get Dendro, are prepping us for Dendro. That is what it is, right? I think a lot of things are gonna come with that. So I think that we need to start thinking about that, and we need to start preparing for when Dendro eventually comes, which could be 2.7, 2.8. I don't know that. Like, I actually don't know that. I don't know what's gonna come, but it's soon, because Inazuma came in 1.7, which ended up being 2.0. So like, we can assume that 2.7, 2.8 is going to be 3.0. We can assume that, right? So that's very soon, because we're on 2.5 right now, right? That's very, very soon. So I think we need to start thinking about that. I think you need to start mentally preparing what Dendro is going to be. If you want, so like, I would say do things like saving your fragile resin, right? There's like, you know, if we get Artifact Domain, you know, our next patch, let's say if that does happen, I'll think twice about using your fragile resin just yet on that domain, unless it greatly benefits you personally. Go ahead. But if it doesn't, I would still say I wouldn't use any fragile resin this patch. I wouldn't use any fragile resin next patch. I would wait. I would wait until that 3.0 comes, and then when that new land comes, then you go ballistic, because I think Sumeru will have Yaimiko set, because it's going to be made to be able to be with Dendro. Yaimiko's going to get a huge buff, in my opinion. That's what I think. These are all my ideas. These aren't leaks. These are just my ideas. This is my speculations, right? But I think she's going to get a huge buff then. I think if you don't get Yaimiko, I think you should really consider getting either Ayato or whatever character comes after Ayato. I think you should start kind of buying into the preparation. And I also think that there might be characters that still work good with it, you know? So like, if you don't want the characters, you don't have to get them. I'm not trying to pressure you to do something or whatever, but I'm just saying that mental prepare yourself, it's coming. That's all I want to say, right? But that's basically some of the thoughts that I had when it comes to that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with what I think? Do you think I got the 10-foil hat on and I'm just speaking craziness and getting people hyped up for nothing? Or do you think that I'm actually making some sense here and now you're gonna start thinking about it? Let me know. And also like the video if you like content like this, and subscribe to the channel. You know, get more content like this, more discussions, more character reviews, more stuff like that, all right? And with that, I'll end it there. Legend out.